Welcome to Light Warrior Radio, where our mission is to empower sensitive souls to harness their superpowers and shine their light, so together we can co-create heaven on earth. I'm your host, Dr. Karen Kant-G, author of the #1 best-selling book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower, and founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the Topocan Healing Method. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so what lifestyle changes do you recommend to support overall health and well-being?
Okay, first lifestyle change I would say is if you're getting up late in the day, switch that around. Get up early in the morning. Get up about 5 in the morning. And even if it feels weird and strange and you've never done that before, just do it. You know what I mean? Oh my God, get up at 5 for what? There's no reason. There's a reason now. So that's one lifestyle change I would say is probably, go to bed early so it's easier to get up in the morning earlier. And that will give you more time to do morning practices that involve your health and well-being. So I like to read in the morning for a couple hours when I get up early. After I read, I like to do meditation. I go through my mala beads, and it's about 20 minutes, that right there. So that meditation, basically, I'm meditating on what I just read. I'm taking the skills and ideas I just learned, bring them into the meditation, be like, okay, what are they talking about? And it really ignites and starts to bring about a trust within myself of the little voice within, which I know is not who I am, yet it is there when I read a book. There's consciousness in this, so I got to make sure that I'm consciousness as that piece is there. So then after I've read and done meditation, I do have 3 times, maybe 4 times out of the week where I do physical workouts. I like doing CrossFit style workouts. I was doing that for about 3 years and learned how to do my own generation of workouts. So I do like to do a lot of muscle building with the cardio involved. So that really helped me out in my own health and well-being. And also I would say a good lifestyle change is to start being conscious as much as you can throughout the entire day, and do not come to a point where you think you're done. That's when everything stops, is when you think you're done in your spiritual growth, when you think you're done in your health and well-being. If you think you've gotten to that thing, think again, man, there's so much more to who we are. And the moment we stop, we plateau, we don't really get anywhere, and we kind of can get stuck there. So
Keep growing.
Yeah, keep growing. Always continue to know that there is more to us. Because, there's a vastness of God that we can't even understand. We can't even put words to consciousness, barely, without freaking ruining the whole thing. It's like I gotta give just the right words in the right way to lead a person to what you're talking about, so they can literally have the inner experience of what words you're giving them, because they need the inner experience, not the words, because the words are not. Can never give the best description of who we are. The feeling within, that knowing, that understanding, that right there. And this is what it leads to. And this is where the health and well-being becomes overall, is when that consciousness is alive. And the consciousness is light. Ego is a dark room. We are bringing consciousness into the dark room. And when that happens, the dark room is the light room. A room full of light, and then we're going to see a lot of scary things in that room. And a lot of things we have not faced. We're going to see a lot of things. And the cool thing is you're not going to die because you saw it. No bad thing is going to happen to you because you saw it. The fact that you were aware and you saw it is what healed it, is healing it.
Nice.
So it's a really neat power, and this is what I mean by leading, by words as signposts.
Okay, well, so I'm hearing you say that things that work for you are getting up early, maybe at 5, going to bed earlier as well, so people can get enough sleep. And even though it may seem strange, you find it really works for you because you get up early in the morning, it's very quiet. You start your day by reading a few hours even, and then meditate with your mala beads. You do your 108 based on what you've already read. So you're diving deeper into that. And you have your workouts, which is regular. You're really passionate about those things. I do notice something you didn't mention, and that is going out bare feet on the ground. You do that every day, pretty much, especially during the summer months where it's not like freezing cold and with a bunch of snow on the ground. And so that connection to earth seems to be pretty important to you as well. And then you talked a bit about the non-physical, the part about your connection to maintaining, or at least working on being more and more conscious Anytime that we think we're done, oh, our spiritual growth is done. We've hit the top. We're at the pinnacle. That's usually, not it. There's always more to grow and expand and all these kinds of things. And you're passionate about that expansion. That is part of your lifestyle, is to incorporate the non-physical consciousness expansion with the physical 3D habits that you have. Did I miss anything?
Just the consistency. Because the mind is consistent, consciousness is and actually the mind can be consistent. I would say consciousness is always on, it's consistent, and since that's the case, be consistent and be there. Try to discover and be consistently on, so you can observe the wheels going round and round, the dualities and stuff like that. And just try to find a way to make your entire day a full-on spiritual growth moment, because your thoughts will always run, and every thought that runs, if you allow it to go by, it will just run you. So be conscious, so you can do something with the content that's coming through that the ego within wants to use as food to create more damage through unhealthy, unhappy, negative ways to solve problems and stuff like that. I mean, that's just how the ego is, because it's unconscious. You know what I mean? It's not a real entity. The consciousness, who we are, is the real entity. We just made something up somehow, and now we're just cleaning that stuff up. So, you know what I mean? Just remain consistent in your seeking and discovering who you truly are as a consciousness. And don't stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you've ever got to stop, because the consciousness is always on, and if it's always on, you are always on. You are that life. Consistent light.
Nice.
Consistent love, consistent joy, consistent happiness. That's what our consciousness is. And this is what glimpses we may have seen feel that. And that's what gets my drive. That's why I have such a big drive, is I saw the truth a couple times. And from that it's like, okay, what am I? I don't really know who I am, because what I thought I was is not what I'm feeling now. I've been led by the ego. I've been duped. And I've been duped many times, to the point where I freaking lose my shit. I thought I got it. I thought I had it. And I come to like, oh my God. And all I did was just slip into identity. I lost myself in unconsciousness. And so it takes time. I'll slip into that. But now I've gotten to a point where, okay, the content, what did I just identify with? Okay, it was this. It was that story I told. Okay. So then the consciousness, I just know that awareness that just became in that is melding through it and just dissolving and uncreating all of that. So next time that does come up, it's weaker. It's less. The structure of it's dead. It's not all there, because consciousness came in and dismantled all that building up that the ego has made over the period of time of our lives here. And even from past lives. I mean, we're probably carrying over stuff from our past egos into this existence. But really, I think this lifetime is just a whole big conglomerate. So we don't really need, from my perspective, I don't think we need to go into our past lives, because all that is already here and now, because there is no somewhere else. There's always now.
It's only now.
Only now. And we can dive into us whenever, just by what thoughts come up. Just take what God gives you. What's your next thought? That's what God gives you. Consciousness on it dissolves and creates. What's your next thought? Because thoughts will always pop up, and every thought that comes up is God saying, hey, this is another one. Oh yeah, check this one. I need you to look at this one. You've been avoiding this one. Look how strong it is now, all that avoidance. Just look at it. Don't give it no labels. Just feel this energy that
doesn't feel like joy.
Yeah, it won't feel like joy all the time. It's going to feel like, some people may label it pain and suffering. I switched it to energy intensities. Energy intensities. That's all.
Okay, I like that.
Because it doesn't give it a label. You just know, it's just an intensity of energy. Nothing more. It feels big. You know what I mean? And that's your weightlifting. That's your strength building right there. And that's your learning to hold attention, focus, consciousness strong with that, without allowing the ego to come in and start rummaging around and causing distortions and stuff. Then an individual will fall back into feeling the pain and suffering. Yeah.
Well, that segues well into my lifestyle changes. And I think you made a good point, is, whatever works for you, people have to check in to see what works for them.
Yes.
Right? I do not get up early.
No, no.
I tend to be a night owl, but I do tend to get enough sleep. So I do think that for the average human, 7 to 8, sometimes some of us sensitive souls need 9, especially those of us that do a lot of energy healing work. But it kind of depends on the person.
It
So
does.
I like to get enough sleep. I like to drink my salt water throughout the day. This is a habit that I've learned that really helps me, not just with energy, but I think it helps me with the elimination, detoxification, and being able to do as much energy work as I do safely.
Right.
It's very grounding. There's a lot of minerals in there. I also take minerals every day. It's an energized mineral formula called Mineral Force and Mag Force from Dr. Stephen Davis. And I just found that incredibly helpful for my physicality. I'm one of those people that kind of sort of used to wish that I didn't have to bother with my body. I was just really into, up here in the fairy realm and the, upper chakras, and didn't really pay attention to my body. But I think it's super important. So I've gotten into that habit of that more regular weightlifting exercise. Before I used to just be like dance and skating and yoga and things like that. But I think the strength training is very important for people, and it actually is a youthening. At least the studies show that as well. A youthening process when we do weightlifting of some sort. Now, if I was a farmer, I wouldn't have to do weightlifting, right? Because I would just be like hauling bales and carrying calves, and I don't know what else they do, chopping wood. But I that's not my gig. So, and I sit a lot. So unfortunately, that is not a great habit. So one of the things I do, which is somewhat helpful, it's not ideal to sit as much as I do, is of course do the exercise, but also I have like 4 or 5 different chairs, right? But I keep changing my body position. I have a vibration machine that I can stand on that helps increase the lymphatic flow in the body. I think the baths, not that I do that every week, but that can really help with the lymphatic flow, because sometimes sensitive souls like myself do tend to get swollen. The quality of food, I'm not perfect, definitely not perfect. I will go, and if I am too busy, I realize, and my brain is on, then I will tend to reach for the junk food. And especially if you start eating it first, then I'd be like, oh, it's open, shoot. If it's not open, I may not open it, but if it's open, then it's like my willpower may not be so great if I don't do enough self-care. So self-care may mean, eating enough fat during the day. And I'm talking about saturated fat, which comes from animal products like, butter and ghee and those kinds of things, because those things help my adrenals. And I'm very, very very energetic. I have a lot to do, and I like being busy. So I do enough saturated fat that's super helpful, enough salt, especially Himalayan crystal salt or some of the other higher vibrational salts, very, very important. For me, having enough protein is really important as well. That really helps me. And then, limiting carbohydrates. My body doesn't seem to like legumes that much, like beans. I don't seem to, they're very starchy, so I don't tend to, assimilate them as well.
Okay.
And they don't even taste that good to me, so I tend to not eat stuff that doesn't taste good. And then, so I do that weekly yoga, and I do my figure skating. That is movement. We walk the dog, right? Although sometimes my feet are a little tender with walking on the rocks, I will at least have my grounding shoes. Also sleep on a grounding mat. And even when we watch movies, I sit on a grounding mat. Block therapy I love block therapy. That's super helpful to release the fascia. Sometimes they'll do fascia blasting, in the shower after doing a workout where my body's warm, to again release the fascia. And I have so many instruments. I can just go on and on of all the different things that I do that you're aware of. I have a little vibrational tool where, I buzz different parts of the body that are tight, after a workout, and it helps me go to sleep. And then the most important metaphysical thing, lifestyle-wise, that I do is that I do stoem. So stillness through observing internal movement, which is just feeling energy in the body. And when I have some sort of negative or so-called negative or sad thing happen, anger, instead of abandoning these emotions and orphaning them, which I used to do very well, I will actually just choose to feel it in the body, accept it fully, accept the anger, accept the resentment, accept the disappointment, accept the sadness, and feel it in the body. And even if I have a problem that, a lot of people have problems, obviously, so-and-so dies, so-and-so sick, I don't have enough money, those kinds of things. Then if I can feel whatever I'm feeling, then I go to what I call the 0 point field. If I just feel in my body whatever is going on without thought, that's how I get to without thought, by the way. It's just going stillness through observing internal movement, the vibration within. Then my thinking shuts down and stops getting in the way because it's just focused on the feeling. And once I'm focused on the feeling, fascinatingly, the answers drop in. The answers to my problem just drop in. People call that intuition. I call it, shut your mind up by getting in the body, and then the answers come in. So that's probably my most powerful habit to do, because I'm not one to say that I sit there and meditate 2-3 hours a day. I do my mala beads in the morning. Yes, my positive affirmations 108 times. However, it's really being in the body that is the most powerful. And last but not least, doing daily healings either on myself or my family, people I care about, team members, and I believe that when I do healing for others, that it actually helps me as well. That's what I have found. So,
Right.
That's very, very helpful. And then, of course, we do our little walks outside, and I'm getting into the habit of being outside in nature more often, although not anywhere compared to you. But yes, I am in front of the computer quite a bit. However, it's amazing just how smelling, feeling, being fully present in nature is so powerful, even for 5-10 minutes a day. And I'm complete.
That's awesome. You know what's really interesting? When you and I both gave our lifestyles, it's interesting how different they are, huh? But it's going toward the same direction. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's going to be different, and they're going to have their own way, and that's cool. And this right here is just giving ideas to inspire others to, wow, okay, this is an idea. Then after, who knows, they'll come up with their own practices, I feel.
Well, Apache is here with us.
Hi, Apache.
Hi, he's our little doggy who's like 12 years old, something like that. He wants to speak, although I'll have to translate for you. He wants to share his lifestyle as well. So, he in the morning, James, Daddy is already up and Adam, and Apache's still snoozing a little bit. And then when he feels it's time to get up, he'll kind of wake up and go bloop, 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 and plop right beside me, who's the late sleeper in person, and kind of stretch and yawn and get tickled, in the belly, and get a little, massage on the spine by mommy, right, honey? Right, baby? And then, we'll usually somehow settle in between mommy's legs. And not that there's any room there on the bed. And then finally, I get up, and then Apache comes on down, and then does his pee-pee boo-boo outside, right, baby? Right? And then waits patiently, or not so patiently sometimes, for his morning meal, right? And then he likes hanging out with mommy sometimes when mommy's doing healing work or she's in the office. There's a boo-boo chair. So he sits there, curls up in there, looks at me, gets a pet, and then just curls up and hangs out while I do healing work or meetings. And sometimes he says hi to the team on Zoom. And then sometimes he'll hang out with Daddy. With Daddy's going outside, he's going for a walk, he's going to tend the garden. He'll go outside and explore and do a sniff fest of what else is going on. And then finally, if we don't do it soon enough, he reminds us that it's time for his walk. So just a little impatient looking at us like, come on, let's go. And then he'll run into the greenhouse as if we're going, even if I'm not going, sort of like hint, hint, hint. And then finally we go. Yep, we go, and he is happy as a clam, right? He's happy as a clam, going for his walk every day. And then around 5, I think he has that look on his face like, is it dinner time yet? is it dinner time yet? Is it dinner time yet? Right? And then finally he gets fed and he's a happy camper. Although if mommy has to go and do some work or chooses to do some work at night, he looks at me and he's like, it's time for the couch. And I'm like, no, it's not. And he just looks at me and he goes, meow, meow. Yeah. And that means it's time to sit on the couch so I can curl in between your legs and we can watch a movie together. And that's, Boo Boo loves that so much. And then when that finally happens, then when it's time to go to bed, I say, Boo Boo, it's time to go to bed. Is it time to go to bed? And then he jumps down and he goes to the bedroom and he has his own little place, his own little bed. And he jumps up on his own, curls around, and we give him some kisses and a blanket, and he's pretty happy doggy. Yeah, he's wagging his tail like crazy right now.
Yeah,
right, Boo Boo?
Yeah, a lot of different lifestyles, even in animals. Yeah, the one thing
this animal knows what he wants.
So the one thing I noticed, and I feel is the evolution of mankind, is when we get to that space of full consciousness, you'll just be consistent energy, and you'll probably find that you need a lot less sleep for your body, because your consciousness, who you are, will be the healing, regenerative factor, and coming from that is why. But if you stay in ego, that is the realm of death. It is always death. That is the one thing that dies. That's the only thing that dies. And we get to experience death through ego's death every time consciousness witnesses it. So it's kind of a neat thing, and I feel like the more and more we do that, ego dies out and becomes more expanded, basically accepting more of consciousness. Consciousness then is the energy, consciousness, that who we are, that consistency of a light that never goes off. Now imagine being in this human body, evolved enough to where the body has changed from its ego physicality, because everything about this human body, I feel, are layers and layers of this lifestyle, layers and layers of what I've been taught in this world, and it's all being created by ego. That's why there's so many problems, little things here and there, on the body I'm noticing, just little things, but it's and they have been reversing, so that's kind of a neat thing.
Well, I feel that morning people really feel that other people should be morning people. Because they or they don't need as, I'm hearing you say that when you're more conscious you need less sleep, and I think that if definitely, I think if I got more rest, and if the bedroom was situated with the sun, because I'm very sun dependent, because I get up a lot earlier in other locations where there is the sun in the morning, but where our bedroom is right now, it's dark for me, and I don't naturally wake up as much. Although lately I've been waking up at a regular time, even before my alarm goes.
Yeah, I was more or less hitting the area of not in this moment. I'm seeing something that's going to unfold in this moment somewhere in the future. I like to say, it's hard to say future because it doesn't exist, because it always unfolds now. So the one thing I'm noticing is, I feel like as mankind evolves, we'll be recognizing, I feel, from my perspective, that we won't need that much sleep, because we'll get the sleep, but we probably won't have to very much.
We see the movies like Phenomenon, where he didn't have to sleep very much, although his mind is constantly going.
Yeah, it was a man who did not clean up his mind. He got everything all at once, and he didn't have the Kaizen, or the, what do you call it? I like to say Kaizen a lot. He didn't have the process to clear the ego's negativities. So he still had to process through all of that. But then again, maybe he opened up to consciousness so much he was able to dissolve all that. Who knows?
I think there was some of that in that movie that we just rewatched. I think there's a lot of us that are doing a lot of energy healing work when we're sleeping. So I don't know like how long that is supposed to be, or how long it takes, or the different dimensions we go to. It's very fascinating sometimes. We have some sensitive souls that literally go into demon realm, but there's very few that are destined to do that as part of their soul mission. But they'll go and clean it up, right, while they're sleeping, and then they wake up and now they got to do regular human life during the day. So there are times I think that in my lifestyle, if there was like less work, and of course I love my work, so that's part of the issue, but less work, more play, right? There's likelihood to be less need for sleep because the healing work that I do will be compacted into a shorter
Mm-hmm.
period of time. And then I also believe, in addition to potentially less sleep needed for humans, we'll have less need for substances like
Hmm.
coffee, right? Like I think that we're really
Yes.
dependent on the uppers and downers, the alcohol, the coffee, that kind of thing. So I do decaf at this point, not
Mm-hmm.
because I want that spike that a lot of people do the coffee for, but because I like the taste of the cocoa collagen and it's like so yummy in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. That being said, when I go elsewhere and I don't have that,
Mm-hmm.
I actually am okay with it.
Mm.
So I like being okay with not having to have the coffee or not having to have the sugar or not having to have whatever. I like the freedom of not having those. I know people call them addictions, but I think those ingrained habits.
Yeah.
So I like being able to choose and be free of that and just choose to eat whatever because I want the taste in that moment.
Yeah, that's really good, Karen. Oh man, yeah, that's wow. That
Anything else to add to our lifestyle question
um
here?
one thing I would have to say, I guess this is kind of off topic. It has to do with dream. It's almost like we're in a waking dream and a sleeping dream.
Yep, yep.
And I'm discovering we're trying to be awake in both dreams. Now imagine if consciousness is consistently on
Hmm.
and we were fully conscious, we would be fully conscious in our awake here and
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We wouldn't be sucked into the dream that the ego pulls us into, right?
We'd be awake
We
in the
would be
dream though.
completely freaking yeah, we would just be like bang, we'd see it all. And then and then when we go to sleep, we would still that consciousness does not go to sleep. It
Right.
stays.
It's called
But
lucid
the body
dreaming.
drops out, you know what I mean? And but that stays alive, stays full on 100%. And then when your body gets up in the morning, that same consciousness, who you truly are, is still on 100%. It never turns off. So we're working to that space of
Yeah.
being that in a world that is, you know what I mean, opposite of it. It's kind of a
Hmm.
so yeah. I mean, that's all I have to
All
add to
right.
it.
Yeah,
I
this was a long one.
This was a long one. So yeah,
All right. Thank you much.
you're welcome, babe.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If it resonated with you, would love for you to hit subscribe and the like button and perhaps share it with someone who's like-minded who would appreciate it. And in the meantime, would love to connect with you in my light medicine community. It's absolutely free to join and it's for sensitive souls who wish to receive love and support and also to share who they really are. It's a safe space for each of us to really shine. So I'll put the link below as well as this week's offerings and freebies, and we will see you there.